Lightning.
No, it was not the lightning. They discovered when resin, a type, amber, a type of resin, when it was rubbed with fur, it used to attract lighter objects, right? Okay.
Yes.
And then we also talked about what are the properties of charges, what is the construction of an atom. Okay, so what are the subatomic particles of atom, by the way?
Yes, sir.
What are the subatomic particles? Subatomic particles. In an atom, there are three smaller particles, no?
Oh,
What were they?
molecules.
No, two atoms makes up a molecule. If you add two atoms, that makes up a molecule. Look, in an atom, as I said, this is its nucleus and it is its orbit. So in the nucleus, there were two subatomic particles. No, one is starting from P, another is starting from N, and in the one which revolves in the orbit, it starts from E. I have given you a hint, Ahmed.
Is a proton, neutron, and electron.
Exactly, proton, neutron, and electron. Right. Okay. Okay. Do tell me, what do you understand by an electroscope? What is the purpose of electroscope?
Sir, Hannes John.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Scope.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Okay. The question to both of you is that what is the purpose of an electroscope? Why do we use an electroscope?
To see the charge of.
So to see the charges.
Yeah. To check for the presence of charge on a body. Okay. So here you have a picture of an electroscope. See this one. Okay. So if you bring a charged body to it, if you touch a charged body to this metal plate, the gold foils will get deflected. So that will show that the above body is consisting of charge. But the limitation of using this electroscope is that it will only detect the presence of charge, but it will not show the nature of charge, that whether the body is positively charged or negatively charged, that we won't be able to get by using this device. Okay, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In both the cases, whether this rod is positive or negatively charged, the gold foils are going to get deflected, right? Okay, so that will only tell us that object is charged. Okay, then we also talked about earthquake, right? So we were basically talking about earthquake. Okay, so earthquake, we basically saw that the whole earth is divided into tectonic plates, right? And when these tectonic plates collide with each other, that leads to earthquake. Apart from the collision of tectonic plates, the causes of earthquake can be volcanic and underground nuclear tests as well, right? So nuclear tests can also lead to what? Earthquake,
Yes.
because it is very powerful, right? And the earth has been divided into several plates. Can you guys name some of the plates? Yeah, Arhan and Ahmed, मैंने कहा था आप लोगों को, you guys have
Sir,
to
three
remember.
parts: crust, mantle, and core.
No, that is the structure of earth. No, that is the inner structure of the earth. I'm talking about plates, like Eurasian plate. Yeah.
Tectonic plate.
No, that is another thing. No, it's another name of plate. We call plate as tectonic plate also. You see, there are almost 7 major plates. See, Pacific plate, North American plate, South American plate, African plate, Eurasian plate, Antarctic plate, and as well as Indian plate. These are 7 major plates. Okay. So the earth has been divided into 7 major tectonic plates. Okay. So see, the plates are like this. See, take the example of this African plate here. And then you have got Arabian plate here. This is Arabian plate, and this is African plate here. So see the boundary of the two plates here. See the boundary of this is the boundary of the two plates. And we know that plates are always moving. Each year by few millimeter, the plates are moving. So when these two plates will collide, it will lead to earthquakes. And earthquakes, where will it occur? On the area where they are colliding with each other. In this region, in this area, earthquakes are more likely to occur. Right, guys? So these are those zones where these are basically weak zones where earthquakes can occur, or they are most likely to occur. Earthquake will not occur in this region, or in this region, but in the zone where the two plates are colliding. So let's understand how collision of plates take place here. See, first see this figure, then we will get to the previous slides. See, the two plates here are colliding here. Okay, so what will happen here? One plate might be heavier. Okay, one plate might be heavier and one plate might be lighter. एक प्लेट हल्की होगी वेट में, एक प्लेट लाइटर होगी. Meaning that
both different from each other.
They both are different from each other. Okay. So if you see the oceanic plates, and if you see the continental plates, this is a continental plate. So you will observe that the oceanic plates are more heavier.
Yes.
They have got more density, while the continental plates are lighter in weight. Right?
Yes.
So what will happen?
Yes,
which
sir.
will go down and which will come above? Like the two plates are colliding. One is heavier, this one, and this one is lighter. So obviously the lighter one is going to be above and the heavier one will submerge down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just like if you take two blocks of wood or some material, one is heavier, one is lighter, and drop them in the water. Which one will float and which one will sink to the bottom?
Light.
Sir, the heavier one will soak under the water.
Just the heavier one will sink down and the lighter one will float here.
Yes,
So
sir.
what happens now when a heavier and a lighter plate will collide? The heavier plate sinks down while the lighter plate is like this. It will not sink. This is the lighter plate. This is the heavier plate. So this thing is happening here. This collision here. See, this plate is going down. See this one. The arrow denotes that this one is heavier and it's going down, while the another one remains where it is. And another type of movement between plates can be like this. See the second figure. They may pass across each other like this. Okay. One is moving in the north direction, one is moving in the south direction. So the movement of the plates which we see on the surfaces of the earth can happen in the two ways. These are the fault lines where they are joined, where the two plates are joined. At that place, the movements can occur in this two way. Okay, one will submerge, another will rise up, or the two plates may pass across each other like this.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Okay, now let's understand how we measure the intensity of an earthquake or the power of an earthquake. Okay, so the power of an earthquake is expressed in terms of magnitude on a scale. Okay, so this scale on which we measure its magnitude is called a Richter scale. Okay, this scale is called a Richter scale. So if an earthquake has a magnitude greater than 7 on the Richter scale, it means it is very disastrous. Right, guys? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And one more thing you guys need to notice here, the scale is not linear in nature. The scale is not linear. What do I mean from this? Look, if I say on the Richter scale, there are two readings. One is 4, one is 6 here. So it will not mean that the earthquake having magnitude of 4 is 1.5 times greater than an earthquake having magnitude of 6. It is not like that. समझ रहे हो आप लोग? Are you guys getting it? But in
Yes,
fact,
sir.
the earthquake which is having a magnitude of 6, it is almost 1000 times powerful than the earthquake which had magnitude of 4 on Richter scale. 1000 times more powerful. So imagine this thing, right? So the the earthquake which had 6 magnitude on the Richter scale, it will be about 1000 times more powerful than the earthquake which had 4 reading on the Richter scale. It is not just 1.5 times greater than it. It is almost 1000 times more destructive than it. Okay. And let's understand where does the from where the earthquake originates and how it travels to the surface. Okay, see the Richter scale of earthquake energy. Okay, it is varies from 1 to 10. Okay, see the green ones here, the reading up to 1 to 4. If the earthquake has an intensity of 1 to 4 on Richter scale, the destruction caused by it is not too much. All right. So the loss of property and the destruction cost will also depend on several factors, right? So if people are living in a very crowded area, the slum area, the buildings are very crowded. So in that area, even an earthquake which has a magnitude of 4 to 5 may cause so much of destruction. Okay. And see the
Excuse me, sir, why?
because you see the buildings are too much crowded there. Okay, and the infrastructure is poor. Usually in slums and in urban areas where there's too much crowding, infrastructure is generally poor. The government does not pay much attention on improvement of the infrastructure, right? So the weak buildings might collapse even if the magnitude of earthquake is 4 or 5, right guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the earthquake which has a magnitude of lying 5 to 6, it is moderate in nature. Okay, occurrence is monthly. Okay, and in population and in movement, you can see the movement is strong and sudden. Okay, and the earthquakes which have a magnitude of 7, 8, 9, or 10, the destruction caused by them is huge. Okay. See, the earthquake which has a magnitude of 10, its occurrence is very rare. Rarely it has been found that an earthquake was of magnitude having 10. Okay. And suppose if it happens, the movement of the plates will be extreme in nature. Right, guys? Okay. Let's understand let's understand how earthquake originates, from where it originates, and how it travels to the surface. Okay. So the origin point of an earthquake is called what? It is called as focus, or also called as hypocenter. See this
Yes,
here.
sir.
You guys, can you guys see the two plates here? One has submerged this plate here. This line here is showing that there are two separate plates here. See this one here. See this line. These are two different plates. This is a one plate, and then you have this plate here. This straight line, it separates the two plate here. It is showing that these are two separate plates. So this focus here shows that from here earthquake originated, and it traveled in form of waves, in form of vibrations to the surface of the earth. And the point lying just above this focus is called as epicenter. This is called as epicenter. Can you guys see this? Let me zoom up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
sir.
point lying just above the focus is called epicenter, and the earthquake, the energy produced in this focus it travels in the form of waves. See, these are the waves in which it is traveling. Okay. And the line across which this focus originated, that is called the fault line. Okay. It is nothing but the boundary between the two plates across which focus has originated. So it is called as fault line, right? So the focus of an earthquake, as we saw, that it is a point inside the earth's surface where the earthquake originates. It is also called as hypocenter. Okay. And what about epicenter? As I said, it lies just above the focus of the earthquake. It is called as epicenter. Okay. And notice that don't get confused in between focus and epicenter. From which one earthquake originates? Epicenter or hypocenter?
So the focus, is the focus. Sir.
Yeah, focus or hypocenter, both are same thing, no? Hypocenter is another name for focus. Okay. Okay, then shall we move ahead then? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we discussed this one. Now, to measure the intensity of the earthquake, okay, we have got an instrument as well. Okay, like the magnitude is scaled on a scale called Richter scale, while the waves which are being produced, see these waves which are being produced here, okay, their intensity is being measured using a seismograph. Okay, kitna powerful earthquake, we measure that using a seismograph. All right, so what is a seismograph? It is an instrument that records seismic wave. In simple terms, it is an instrument that measures the seismic waves. Okay, seismic wave में क्या measure करती है? Its intensity, its power. Okay, now let's understand the structure of this seismograph. Okay, there are 2 or 3 main components in this seismograph. It will consist of a pendulum or a vibrating rod. Okay, that will vibrate when the tremors occur. Okay, tremors are what? Basically, we are referring to earthquake as tremors. Tremor also means vibrations. All right, guys. So this seismograph is placed on a flat surface. Okay, and when earthquake occurs, this pendulum will move. See this, I have got an animation for you guys. See this animation, and that will give you a more clarity here. See this here. This is a pendulum here, and this is a magnet here, horseshoe magnet. Okay, and this is being placed on a chart paper. This has been placed on a chart paper, and this thing here, you can see this thing is a rolling drum. This is a rolling drum. So that is simply the structure of a seismograph. Okay, and this thing here, can you guys see this one? A pointy, the pointy end of this pendulum, that is actually a pencil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this rolling drum, it is rolled by a paper. It is actually a paper on it. Okay, now let's understand how it works. Okay, so let me erase the markings.
See the seismograph. In this activity,
Yes.
to see the
Okay.
seismograph
Is
in
the voice
action,
audible to you guys?
trigger a
Let's see
mock
from here.
earthquake on the table to see the seismograph in action. We can see that the pendulum tip records the earthquake on a graph sheet. In this activity, we have seen the recording of seismic waves caused by earthquakes.
Yes. So you see, This is how a seismograph works, right, guys? So the varying intensity of the earthquake is drawn by that pencil in the form of graphs, right, guys? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the tremors produce waves on the surface of the earth, and these are called seismic waves. Okay, seismic waves, we are referring to this one. The circular waves are called as seismic waves, right? These waves are recorded by an instrument, we know that is seismograph. So what happens when the tremors occurs? This pendulum draws graphs on this chart paper. Okay, the pen basically
Yes,
here
yes.
is recording the seismic wave on a paper which moves under it, right? So the working of it of an seismograph is quite simple. Did you guys got this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one question to both of you guys, like, can we predict earthquakes where it will occur?
No, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
No, Arhan, we can't predict where earthquakes will occur. Okay. The thing is now we can't predict where earthquakes will occur. Okay. But in general, we have an idea that looking from the past track of earthquakes, we see that these are weaker zones, these are danger zones where earthquakes can occur. But where earthquakes can occur like uh, an hour later or a week later or a day later, we can't predict that. Okay. So you see, usually the people who study earthquakes daily they predict that the in this particular region earthquakes might occur. For example, I'm forgetting the name of the person who predicted the earthquake in Turkey. So it was just a chance of, it was just a luck that it got true. His prediction got true, but no one paid attention to his prediction that earthquake is about to occur in Turkey. So what the people do now, they just study the patterns of seismic waves in a region, right? So based on their study, they give predictions that earthquakes might occur, but the predictions might not be true 100%. So we cannot say that we can absolutely predict the upcoming earthquakes, right, guys? Okay. Any confusion so far?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the sensitive zones of earthquakes in India. Okay, see, if you guys see the plates, as I said, there's a Indian plate and Eurasian plate as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So see the Himalayas here. So how the Himalayas were formed? When the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate collided, when this Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate, when collision occurred here. So due to that collision, it led to formation of Himalayas, right?
Yes, sir.
Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate and it led to formation of Himalayas. So there's a fault line between the Indian plate and the Eurasian plate, right? So the fault line goes
Yes.
all the way from Kashmir up to this Arunachal Pradesh. So obviously this is a weak zone. This is a weak zone where earthquakes are most likely to occur. Okay. So the northern plains of India is put under danger zone where earthquakes are more likely to occur. So in the news, you must be hearing that more often the focus of earthquake is found to be sometime in Afghanistan, sometime in Pakistan, or sometime in Nepal, the regions which are close to Himalayas, right, guys? So there have been so many earthquakes in India as well that caused great damage to property and life. For example, the earthquake of Kashmir, the Bhuj earthquake. Okay, so they have an earthquakes of 7.5 intensity as well in India, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
the question comes, how do we protect ourselves from earthquake? Look, the first step is comes from the first basic initial step one needs to take care of is that while building, one needs to take care of the architecture design, right? So nowadays people are building earthquake proof buildings, right? Okay, so people should always consult architectures while planning for a new building. Okay, so buildings should be there should be shock absorbers placed in the buildings, so that whenever there's an earthquake, or especially when the person is living in a region which is prone to earthquakes, right, where earthquakes are more likely to occur. So in that region, people should be using shock absorbers at the base of the building. So shock absorbers are like this. See this. If the building is like this, on the base of the building, shock absorbers are placed, right? These are shock absorbers. Just like vehicles have got shock absorbers in them now, like a motorcycle or a car, they have got shock absorbers. Okay, similar
Yes,
to
sir.
that, on the basis of the building, shock absorbers are placed to protect them from destruction and damages, right? And one another thing needs to be taken care of, that the walls, like these are different floors now, the walls of the buildings needs to be reinforced with steels. Okay, so there's a technique called cross bar. This technique called cross bracing. Cross bracing, in which steels are put across the walls like this, right? So in that, what happens? They reinforce the walls using steel beams, right? Using steel beams, they reinforce the walls like this. Okay, so first step is that people need to consult a architecture while they construct a new building. Okay, now what are another steps one needs to follow? For example, if there's an earthquake and person is an outdoor, so he needs to find a clear spot which is away from overhead lines and buildings. Obviously, one needs to stand in a open area where there is no power lines or a building nearby. Or if one is in a car, then he needs to go to a clear spot and stay inside the car till the tremors stop. Right. What if the person is in his house? Then he should protect himself and his family and friend under a heavy table or a heavy furniture, right? And one needs to avoid standing near a tall object. Okay, tall and heavy objects. So structural measures, as I said, in highly seismic areas. Highly seismic areas means those areas where seismic activities are active. Okay, so build mud houses with light roofs in order to minimize damages. So you guys tell me, uh, people of which areas are prone to more damage done by earthquake? Villages or cities?
Some more protected areas.
Villages or cities?
The cities.
Cities. Yes, Ahmed. Because people generally who live in villages, their houses are made up of mud, right? Mud and chaff, etc. So even if their houses fall, the damage done by them will not be so grave, right? So fix cupboards and shelves to the walls. Okay. During an earthquake, some buildings catches fire and therefore must have proper working firefighting equipment, right? So earthquakes can earthquakes can trigger other accidents as well, right? Okay, see this photo here, right? So one more thing here is that do not use elevator in earthquakes, right? Because most likely the string of the elevator might break, or the person might get stuck inside the elevator. Get under a heavy desk. Okay, stay away from utility wire, that is power lines. Cover your head and neck like this. Okay, if you're in an open area, stay away from potentially dangerous objects. Drive to clear area and avoid bridges. Always avoid bridges, and do not stand at the doorway. Okay, these are some general precautions. Okay, now the chapter is completed. Let's look at few questions. Okay, you guys tell me, what are the different layers of Earth?
The crust core is the crust, mantle, and core.
Yeah, crust, mantle, and core. And what is a seismograph?
The seismograph is used to define and measure the seismic waves.
Yes, these are the seismic waves. Right. Okay. What is the hypocenter of focus?
So it's the middle part of of the plate which produces the seismic wave.
Not necessarily the middle part of the plate. It is basically the point where earthquake originates. From where earthquake originates. Okay. Ahmed, you are not seeing anything. What about epicenter, Ahmed? Okay. Arhan, what is epicenter?
The epicenter is located right at the top of the focus.
Okay, just vertically above the focus. Okay. Now we come to the answer exercise here. Okay, so see the questions here. Okay, what does the first question says? So the following cannot be charged easily by friction. Okay. Yes. Which cannot be easily charged by friction.
There are plastic scale.
A plastic scale, or a copper rod, or an inflated balloon, or a woolen cloth. A copper rod or a plastic scale which cannot be charged easily by friction.
There are plastic scale.
Plastic scale. Okay. Next, see the next question. When a glass rod is rubbed with a piece of silk cloth, the rod and which options are correct here? Okay, there was a convention here. Remember, whenever a glass rod is rubbed with a silk cloth, the glass rod will always acquire which charge? I told you guys this one.
There are negative charge.
No, it will always acquire positive charge. It was a sign convention, no? The glass rod will always acquire positive charge when it is rubbed with a silk cloth. Okay. Okay, see question number 3. Ahmed, you are not answering. See question number 3. Write true and false here. Like charges attract each other. A charged glass rod attracts a charged plastic straw. Lightning conductor cannot protect a building from lightning. What about first one?
That's true. Like charges attract each other.
What are you saying, Arhan? Like charges are plus plus minus minus. So will they attract or repel each other?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, so that is false. Okay. Okay, see next one. A charged glass rod attracts a charged plastic straw. Yes, that will attract it. Okay, since both of them are charged, they will attract it. See the third one, lightning conductor cannot protect a building from lightning. That is obviously false. Okay, earthquakes can be predicted in advance.
That's false.
It's false. We cannot predict in advance, right? Okay. Now, other questions, question number 4, 5, 6 series questions. Sometimes a crackling sound is heard while taking off a sweater during winters. Why is it so?
So because of the negative and positive charges.
Exactly, because of how the charges that develops between our skin and the cloth which we wear, the sweaters. Explain why charged body loses its charge if we touch it with our hand.
So if we are standing barefoot, then the charge of the earth will neutralize the charge
Very
of
good.
the.
Very good, Arhan. The negative charges from the earth or positive charge from the earth will transfer to that body and it will be neutralized. Okay, see next question. On which scale earthquake is measured?
The arithmetic scale.
On a Richter scale. Okay, the scale is called Richter scale. So we measure the energy of earthquake on Richter scale.
The
Okay.
Ahmed is left.
Yes, Ran? Yeah, Ahmed has
Ahmed
left.
has left.
Yeah, I guess he is having some network issues. Okay. So on an earthquake which measures 3 on this scale, it will still be recorded by the seismograph, but its intensity, the damage done by it will not be that much, right?
Yes.
Okay. Recently, I think today or yesterday in Iceland, record-breaking number of earthquakes have been recorded. Almost 22 earthquakes, 2200 earthquakes have been recorded in Iceland. I just read today that in Iceland, 2200 earthquakes in a day have been recorded. It's the intensity was very weak, but 2200 earthquakes in a day. Just imagine this thing. Okay, so that's
So
a great number.
was there a severe earthquake?
No, there was no casualty or heavy damage done. Okay, as we know, on a daily basis, 20 earthquakes occurs on a daily basis, but its intensity is so weak that we do not feel it. So in Iceland, 2200 earthquakes have been recorded in the past 24 hours. So, but they were of weak magnitude. They were weak. Okay. Anyways, let's see another question. Suggest 3 measures to protect ourselves from lightning. What precaution shall we take?
So if we are in, so if we are inside a building, then we should avoid bathing and we should avoid touching any electric appliances. And
Yes.
we should unplug all the electric appliances. And
Yes.
if we are outside, we should look for a lower place.
Yeah.
Because lightning usually looks for a tall place to fall.
Exactly.
And we should stay away from electric cables.
Exactly. Okay.
And we
What
should
if
stay
someone
away.
is in a forest?
So we should look for a lower place or a lower tree.
Yes. Okay. And should someone take bath while it's lightning?
No, sir.
No, obviously no. Okay. Why a charged balloon is repelled by another charged balloon, whereas uncharged balloon is attracted by another charged balloon? It is because of the property of charges, right? It is because of the property of the charges that
Yes, sir.
unlike charges attract each other while like charges repel each other. Okay. Now describe with the help of diagram an instrument which can be used to detect a charged body. We are talking about which instrument here?
The electroscope.
Electroscope, right? Okay, so that you can do. Okay, you have understood it's working now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. List three states in India where earthquakes are more likely to strike. So you will look for the northern states of India. Okay, where earthquakes are most likely to occur, because the northern states of India are situated along the fault line, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Suppose you are outside your home and an earthquake strikes, what precaution would you take to protect yourselves? So if you are outside, outdoors, what precautions will you take?
So we should look for a clear spot where there are no buildings or trees.
Hmm.
And if we are inside the car, we should uh, drive to the safe spot and stay inside the car
Until
until
the
the
tremors.
earthquake stops.
Exactly. Okay. The weather department has predicted that a thunderstorm is likely to occur on a certain day. Suppose you have to go out on that day. Would you carry an umbrella?
No, sir, since light technically looks for tall objects and an umbrella is clearly higher than ourselves, so there are chances we could get and the lightning would fall on us.
Exactly. There's a high chances that the person might get electric shock, right? Okay. So with this, our chapter completes here, right? So any confusion so far from the chapter?
No, sir.
Okay then. So complete the exercise, and I haven't received the assignment from you guys. Arhan, did you send the assignment?
Sir, this chapter.
Yeah, of this chapter, the previous assignment.
Yes, sir, I sent it. Was there any assignment on Thursday's class?
On Thursday's class.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I gave assignment on Thursday as well.
Sir, I did not receive the assignment.
Okay, I will check that.
Although I sent the assignment before that.
Okay, I will see that. Okay, so regarding the backup class, you told you will be available on Sundays and
Some Mondays, but since today there was heavy rain at our place, I could
okay.
not go to the coaching.
Okay, on Sundays and Mondays you're available for backup classes. Okay, so in
Yes,
the
sir.
previous class we were talking about synthetic fibers, right? Okay,
Yes, sir,
and
and we talked about the rational numbers.
yeah, the rational numbers as well. Okay, so have you sent your syllabus, by the way, Arhan? Like this?
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay, as you told that this chapter was not part of your syllabus, some natural
Actually,
phenomena.
I found out that it was in my book.
It was in your book, no?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So the ANSAT syllabus, the revised syllabus is same for everyone. Okay. Okay, then. So in the next class, we will, in the backup class, we will talk about synthetic fibers and plastics. Okay. By the way, what are the two different types of plastics?
The polymer and
So that is another thing, Arhan. Okay. Polymers are long chains and fibers. Okay. That makes up the thread and our clothes. Polymers are different things. Okay. You see, polymers are basically long chain of monomers like this, right? Polymers are long chains of monomers. So this one single unit is called monomer. Okay. And if you have got a continuous chain of monomers, that gives you polymers. Mono means one, poly means many. Okay, and that basically makes up the threads. So if you look up a thread under a high magnifying microscope, this is how you will get its structure. This is how the structure will be visible in the form of minute monomers. So this polymer can also be of two different types, natural and then synthetic. We discussed that. Okay, in synthetic you have got so many different types like acrylic, polyesters, rayon, right, etc. Okay, and the plastics which we are
sir,
talking about. There are two. What are
There
they?
are two types of plastic, thermoplastic and thermosetting plastic.
Exactly. Thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics. Okay. So in your home also, you will see that there are certain plastics. Okay. Like the utensils, their handles are made from type of plastic which do not melt upon heating as well. Right. For example,
Yes, sir.
see the cooker handles. Okay. So the cooker handles, if the older cookers which used to come, their handles, if you throw them across the wall or if you drop them from a height, it will break into pieces. But the another type of plastics, you will see that they will melt easily. Okay, so they are called thermoplastics, while the first one is called thermosetting plastics, right? So they cannot be melted and they cannot be recycled, right? So that is why which one is better? The one which can be melted again. That is thermoplastics. So in the next class, we will get to know it is actually the type of it is actually the structural composition of this polymer which leads to differentiation of plastics. Like if you see the thermoplastics, or if you see the thermosetting plastics, in them you will see the structure of polymers are different. That is why one can be melted and another cannot be melted. Okay, so read that chapter.